Welcome to our daily Forex market analysis, and this is for trading on May the 14th, 2020. Just a quick disclaimer here before we get started. This is for educational purposes only. Trading is a risky business, so please be careful with your money. As usual, we'll start off by taking a look at our calendar here. So in terms of important news here, today we did hear from Fed Chair Powell, and there has been a lot of speculation in terms of negative interest rates. Last couple of days we have heard the Fed members, FOMC members, come out and say essentially they're not looking at negative interest rates at this point, and this was again repeated by Powell today as well. Even though President Trump has been tweeting about negative interest rates and how they would be good. Overall, the Fed is not willing to go there at this point because it is bad for the currency. And not just that, it would also be bad for investments into the US. So at this point, basically Fed is saying no negative interest rates. And then we also heard yesterday, actually we had a Reserve Bank of New Zealand monetary policy statement, and a Reserve Bank of New Zealand actually increased the cap in terms of their QE program. So the amount of money they'll be putting into the markets has gone up, and that tends to be negative for the currency. But also we have seen Reserve Bank of New Zealand actually consider negative interest rates. So they're not going to go negative at this point, but it is something that's on the table and they're willing to consider them. And of course, as a result of that, we did see New Zealand dollar drop across the board. Coming up here, we have employment data for Australia here, expecting a big drop, 575,000 job losses here, and the employment income is unemployment rate is expected to go up here. Now, if the numbers are better than expected, that could be good for Australian dollar. We have seen that this happen with the US dollar. On the flip side, though, if we see that the drop is bigger than what is forecasted here, that will be a negative for Australian dollar. We have seen Australian dollar get hit already because of the risk-off environment that is back into the market. We saw stock market drop essentially for the last couple of days. It's been dropping, and when that happens, we generally see Australian dollar drop as well. So the negative data will actually just push it down. Coming up here tomorrow, we have CPI numbers for Germany. We also have ECB Economic Bulletin. So this is where we'll be able to see how ECB is viewing the economy in the coming year as well as going forward. Now, we also have Bank of England, Governor Bailey speaking here. So anytime we have central bankers speaking, it can always be a cause of concern. When we had Powell speaking today, we saw markets go back and forth. Prices were very, very volatile. Same thing for Reserve Bank of New Zealand as well. So we'll have to see what Bank of England comes up with here. So keep an eye on that. And then, of course, we have unemployment claims here. We're looking for a big number here. Again, it is supposed to drop from the previous number. We're looking at $2.5 million job cuts here. Now, if the number is bigger than this, if it still comes close to 3 million job losses here, that is expected to be negative for the US dollar. Now, we also have Bank of Canada here. We're looking at financial system review as well as Governor Poloz is speaking. So with two central bankers today, I would be careful with this one. A lot of times the markets are going to be volatile when this happens. So if you're trading Canadian dollar, you want to pay attention to what happens or the speech by Bank of Canada here. And that is it. So let's take a look at our charts now. We'll start off by taking a look at euro dollar. So yesterday we were looking for euro to go up and then dropped. So we did see that it did break out a little bit before it dropped. So today we have a nice bearish pin bar here. So bias here is to the downside, and I would look for a bit of a pullback, potentially into 1.0840, and then we could see a drop here. So bias is to the downside, target is 1.0765. Now the thing to pay attention to would be 1.0780. So this is where price had turned around previously. So we have to be careful with this level and make sure that it doesn't turn around. So bias bearish for euro dollar. Pound dollar here, we have a bearish pin bar for this one as well. So bias is to the downside. Now in terms of a pullback, we could get a pullback into 1.2260. So bias here is bearish as well. And in terms of the target here, now the pullback could be slightly higher as well. So keep that in mind. Let me just move this right into, so either into 1.2260 or 1.2285. Those are the two levels I would keep an eye on. And the target here is 1.2160. Now keep in mind though, we also have support at 1.2200. So if price is not able to break through this support level, it could turn around. So watch out for that. The bias is bearish and target is 1.2160. Aussie dollar here, this one is also looking bearish. We have a bearish pin bar. Now with this one as well, keep in mind price is right into support here. So we do need to see a drop for this one to continue lower. So this is our support level. If it doesn't manage to break through this, we could see a reversal. But I'm looking for a pullback and then a drop for this one as well. First target is 0.6380 and then 0.6335. So bearish bias here for Aussie dollar. New Zealand dollar here, we saw a big drop, of course, which is to be expected with what the Reserve Bank of New Zealand had to say. So bias here is bearish. Now, one thing to keep in mind here is we do have a big inefficient move here. So price, if it breaks the high of today, it can go fill all of that. So watch out for that. But for now, bias is bearish. And in terms of a pullback, I'm looking at 0.6030 and then a potential drop here. Target is 0.5900. So bearish bias for New Zealand dollar as well. Dollar CAD here, we did see a pullback and then price actually went higher. Now in this case, bias is bullish. We do have a bullish pin bar here. Now, I would keep an eye on this one because price is into resistance. As we can see, this is where price has reacted multiple times previously. So if it's not able to break that level, we could see it drop. So watch out for that. But currently what I'm looking at would be a pullback potentially into 0.4065 level. And then a further move to the upside here. Target is 1.4180. So bias is bullish for dollar CAD. Let's take a look at our commodities here. Starting with silver. Silver is still range bound here. It went into the support level here into 15.25, but hasn't really managed to break through that. And now it's holding above this level. So as long as it holds above 15.25, we are likely to see a move higher. So because it's holding higher, chances are it's going higher even further. 15.80 will be the next target here for silver. And should it get through that level, then we have 16.00. So for now, bias is neutral, but if it breaks the resistance, I will look for a move first into 15.80 and then 16.00. Gold here, gold has done well. So gold is looking gold is trading back again as a safe haven asset like it normally does. It was trading similarly to equities, but now it's back. Now with this one here, I would look for biases bullish here. I would look for a further move to the upside here. And in this case, if price goes through the resistance, next target is definitely higher. So bias is bullish. First target is 1720 and then 1720 and then 1730, and it could go all the way up. So watch out for that. Bias is bullish here for gold. Now, having said that, though, it is into resistance, so this is a strong support resistance level. If it doesn't go through, then I will look for a move back down to today's low. So bullish bias here for gold. Oil here. Oil has been trading sideways here. It hasn't really managed to go higher. It's been stuck sideways. Very, very small move here. So bias here is neutral. What I would keep in mind is if it holds below 26.80, 27-ish level, then chances are we could see a drop. So watch out for that. Neutral bias for oil for now. Copper here, copper is looking neutral as well. We see that price went into the resistance level here, and then it has held below this level. At this point, bias is a neutral to bearish. We see that it's making lower highs. So as long as it holds below 2.30, I'm looking for a drop here. So first target is 2.29 and then 2.25. So neutral to bearish for copper. Bitcoin here, we did see a big move up in Bitcoin, and now price is into some solid resistance here. As we can see, this level has been tested a number of times here, and at this point, bias is bullish, but with caution. If price is not able to break through the resistance at 93.50-ish level, chances are we are looking for a move back down. So bias is a neutral to bullish for Bitcoin. All right, next one here. We have S&P 500. As we see, price dropped today, but it has pulled back. So we have to be careful with this one here. Bias is to the downside. And in this case, what I'm looking for here would be a potential pullback either into 2830-ish level or slightly higher even into 2840 level. And if it holds below that, I would look for a further move to the downside. Target here is 2780, and only if it manages to go through that, then 2750. So bias is bearish for S&P 500. Nasdaq here, we have seen a move in both directions for Nasdaq. So in this case, bias is neutral. We do have a lower high and lower low, but I would be cautious with this one. Looking for a pullback potentially into 9060 level, and then if it stays below that, I will look for a further move to the downside. First target is 8880 and then 8740. So bearish to neutral bias for Nasdaq. Dow Jones here, this one's looking bearish as well. We see a nice drop here. Price went into support and pulled back. So now for today, I will look for a bit of a pullback before a drop here. Bias is to the downside. 23,000 is the first target, and then 22,750 is the second target for Dow Jones. DAX here, DAX looking bearish as well. Bias still remains to the downside. We may get a pullback into 10,500 and then looking for a further drop for DAX as well. And the first target here is 10,400 and then 10,280. So bearish bias for DAX. And FTSE here, this one's looking bearish as well. I would look for a bit of a pullback into 5,900, and then looking for a drop. Target is 57.85. And then we have Nikkei here. Nikkei, this one's looking bearish. Now watch out for the support here. If it doesn't break through the support, as we can see, this is right into support level here. If it doesn't break through the support, we could see price bounce off in the opposite direction, but it's looking bearish. Next target is 19,850 and then 19,600. So bias is bearish here for Nikkei. So that's it for today. You guys have a wonderful trading day, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye for now.